Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Frequency Shift podcast with Alexis Gallagher and Susan Elliott. We are still studying Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, and we are on chapters 10, 11, and 12. He's in chapter 10, he talks about further use of the will, and the will is one of the higher mental faculties that Bob Proctor taught us. And learning to use your will and focus on what you do want and not what you don't want is so very important. He had little exercises that he would encourage people to do to get you to focus on your will and use it better. And one of the things he did is like using a candle and the wick, you light the wick and focusing on it and keeping your mind focused for 60 seconds at first, because our minds we're constantly thinking and we can't stop those thoughts, but we can learn how to focus it. And that was a great exercise that Bob taught us. So he says you cannot retain a true and clear vision of wealth if you are constantly turning your attention to opposing pictures, whether they be external or imaginary. Do not tell of your past troubles of a financial nature if you have had them, which everybody has probably. I mean, some people maybe not. Do not think of them at all. Do not tell of the poverty of your parents or the hardships of your early life. To do any of these things is to mentally class yourself with the poor for the time being, and it will certainly check the movement of things in your direction. So most of us, we're just automatically trained that way. I mean, our thoughts just automatically go there towards poverty. And like Bob always said, and a lot of great teachers, is most people, that's what they're focused on. Most 95% of people, that's what they talk about. And it reminds me that Bob used to say there's three kinds of people, and I might not say it exactly like he said it, but he said there's people that talk about other people. Then there's another class of people that talk about events. And then there's people that talk about ideas, creating new ideas, great ideas that basically help other people.
Yeah, and those are the people that you want to spend time with and be in company of and raise your awareness and frequency around those people.
If you spend time around them, you cannot help but have that vibration rub off on you.
Mm-hmm.
So Wattles goes on, he says, no matter how horrible and seeming may be the conditions in certain countries, sections, or places, you waste your time and destroy your own chances by dwelling on them. You should interest yourself in the world's becoming rich. Think of the riches the world is coming into instead of the poverty it is growing out of. And bear in mind the only way in which you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative method, not the competitive one. Give your attention wholly to riches. So that is so powerful. And again, it takes time and effort. You have to retrain your mind. You're retraining yourself to think differently. And that is challenging. I mean, the concept of it is easy to understand intellectually, but doing it is a whole nother thing. That's what the programs that Alexis and I teach is how to retrain yourself and reprogram yourself.
It's so important. I mean, because even if you think you have a strong mindset for it, but you're surrounded in culture and you hear people talking about, how hard it is or tough like that, and then you think just to make it quick and easy connection or helping them out, um, by agreeing with them, then you start to lower yourself too. So really being aware of that, it's a daily practice.
Correct. That's so right, Alexis. And that's why we have to be led by our standards and not our emotions and feelings. We have set standards, and then your emotions and feelings follow. because it's so easy, like Alexa said, the outside environment it's powerful and the paradigm's so powerful.
Right.
So Waddle says on the competitive plane, the struggle to get rich is a godless scramble for power over others. But when we come into the creative mind, all this is changed. All that is possible in the way of greatness of service and lofty endeavor comes by way of getting rich, because all is made possible by the use of things. You can aim at nothing so great or noble, I repeat, as to become rich, and you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of wealth to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision. Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them. And these can best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. And yeah, the first time I heard it, I didn't believe it either. I thought, there's only so much, or oh, they're really successful and wealthy because, whatever reason, they're a doctor or they're blessed or they're really attractive or whatever, you can make up a lot of reasons why people are wealthy or successful, but it has to do with their mind and the way that they think, act, and feel.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
An ounce of doing things is worth a pound of theorizing. The very best thing you could do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. You can serve God and humanity in no more effective way than by getting rich. That is, if you get rich by the creative method and not by the competitive one. So he does continuously emphasize the fact that we are not to be competitive against each other, but to create. Each of us has such creative abilities in us that we don't have to be competitive. We all have so many great competitive abilities inside us that are dying to come out, and we just don't let them out.
Yeah, creative abilities. And yeah, I know and when I first heard that and learned that idea, I was like, oh, what a relief, because I really didn't like competing against other people, but it's kind of like all I really knew from our culture, and what the culture tells us and society and all that. And yeah, it's immense freedom being able to move onto the creative plane, and it's so much better to live life that way.
That's so true. That's a good way to look at it. Because we are created from such a magnificent being that we can't help but be creative. That's our true nature, our true spirit. A person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can create the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, a person must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind against all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith, quench his faith. So that is so important, that chapter. That's how he ended that chapter.
Hmm.
Chapter 11 is acting in a certain way. So he says, thought is a creative power or the impelling force which causes the creative power to act. Thinking in a certain way will bring you riches, but you must not rely upon thinking alone. Pay no attention to personal action, paying no attention. That is the rock upon which many otherwise scientific thinkers meet shipwreck. The failure to connect thought with personal action. So yeah, it's so important to act. We can think all that we want forever. If we do not take action, we will not see any results. And that's what Alexis and I were talking about earlier before we started our recording, is acting in a certain way. And again, the paradigm comes in so strong. It'll say, oh, you don't need to do it right now. Oh, you're tired, or oh, you can do that next week. And it's so easy to listen to the paradigm.
Yeah, that and for me, like, oh, you're not good enough or imposter syndrome, right? But then again, the relief comes because to me, it's always that internal battle, right? That's taking place when you know you're not in harmony or truth with universal law. And then once you do act in that certain way, Susan, like you're saying, there's that immense freedom feeling again because then like you know that it's going to happen and it's already done, and now you're just kind of letting it come to you.
Exactly. There's knowing. Once you hit a certain level, you know it's going to happen, but you have to act with faith and purpose, and then you know it. But the more action you take, the more confidence it gives you. A lot of things Alexis and I have never done. We never would have started the podcast if we would have said, "Oh, we're not ready," or "We need to do this. We need to read one more book. We need to study one more thing, and then we'll be ready."
Right.
So, but we just said, "No, it's time to act now." So he's going on, he says the scientific use of thought consists in forming a clear and distinct mental image of what you want and holding fast to your purpose to get what you want and realizing with grateful faith that you do get what you want. Do not try to project your thought in any mysterious or occult way with the idea of having it go out and do things for you. That is wasted effort and will weaken your power to think with sanity. The action of thought is getting rich is fully explained in the preceding chapters. Your faith and purpose positively impress your vision upon formless substance, which has the same desire for more life that you have, and this vision received from you sets all the creative forces at work. And in thought, they're regular channels of action, but directed toward you. It is not your part to guide or supervise the creative process. All you have to do with that is to retain your vision, stick to your purpose, and maintain your faith and gratitude. So, yeah, acting with faith and gratitude, as we went over in the last session, gratitude puts you closer to that universal source. No matter what it is, it can be something tiny that you're grateful for. You know, you're grateful for clean water to drink. You're grateful that you have that you're healthy. You're grateful for it can be the smallest thing, and the
Hmm.
more you think about it, you think about more things to be grateful for.
Yeah, and it really changes your overall course of results in life. It just improves so rapidly when you just start using that gratitude for all the things.
He says, do not spend time in the present taking thought as to the best course and possible for future emergencies. Have faith in your ability to meet any emergency with when it arrives. If you act in the present with your mind on the future, your present action will be with a divided mind and will not be effective. Put your whole mind into present action. Do not give your creative impulse to original substance and then sit down and wait for results. If you do, you will never get them. Act now.
That's really good. I used that one to change because I used to overthink stuff. And then when it actually came time to say the thing I needed to say, I couldn't do it because I had overthought it so much. So then I applied, I was like, okay, well, let's test this one out. And I applied it. I would make instead just quick bullet points in my mind of the topics I wanted to touch on and then release it and be in my moment. And then when that moment did arrive, it I could just like let go and let God speak through me and help me to say the thing I needed to say. But it's true, you don't need to plan ahead in that regard. And it's much better and everything flows much better when you just trust that you're going to be able to handle the situations as they arise.
Yes, having faith. Your vision of the right business, if held with faith and purpose will cause the supreme power to move the right business toward you. And your action, if performed in a certain way, will cause you to move toward the business. If you are an employee or wage earner, feel that you must change places in order to get what you want. Do not project your thought into space and rely upon it to get you another job. It will probably fail to do so. Hold the vision of yourself in the job you want while you act with faith and purpose on the job you have, and you will certainly get the job you want. So it's interesting. You know what? I've manifested that myself, and I know Alexis has too, is holding the faith and getting the job. But it's like Napoleon Hill said, in Think and Grow Rich, it's like be careful and carefully plan out the job that you really want, because sometimes you think you want a job and then you get it and it's not really the one that you want. So
Yeah,
plan it out with purpose.
that's a great point, Susan. And I would also say the amazing and beautiful thing about that is you can take it and apply that to any goal you're looking to achieve. So, for myself, an example of that is when I was getting ready to get my next dog. I made a list of all the qualities I wanted in that dog, and I got an amazing match, even better than I thought it could be. But I did leave off some things then that I got, but she was so sweet and so wonderful. It was fine. It's like you look over those things, but it's just amazing what the universe is wanting and ready to deliver to you as long as you get clear about it. So yeah, get detailed about that, whether it's a new job or career you're looking for, the next house, car, pet, spouse, friendships, whatever it is. Write it out, get detailed about it, get clear about it.
For sure, because the universe only responds to, if you have a vague idea, then that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So, chapter 12, he talks about efficient action. You must use your thought as directed in previous chapters and begin to do what you can do where you are, and you must do all that you can do where you are. You can advance only by being larger than your present place, and no one is larger than his present place that leaves undone any of the work pertaining to that place. So that's just part of getting better where you are, practicing whatever craft you are. You may not be in the best job in the world that you think that you really want, but you have to act with faith and purpose and do it to the best of your ability. So this chapter, we're not going to be able to finish because we're at the last minute, but we will continue on with this chapter. We'll start on chapter 12 next time. And we appreciate you being here and having a great podcast. Feel free to reach out.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Frequency Shift. We are grateful. Don't forget to tune into our social media to find out when the next event is, where you can join us for some live coaching and events and seminars. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.